Former Republican Representative Jack Kingston was on CNN with Alisyn Camerota. She doesn't let people get away with anything, so I'm not sure he picked the right show to try to pull this maneuver. He decided that he was going to launch a conspiracy theory about how it wasn't the students who were upset and want to rally against gun violence and for gun control, that it was actually nefarious left-wing groups. I would think that the students had pretty good grounds to be upset and pretty good motivation to organize, but apparently Jack Kingston doesn't think so. And by the way, just a little bit of context here. This is the guy who was often called a moderate Republican and enabled by guys like Bill Maher, who would have him on his show all the time as some sort of so-called moderate. Now, let's see if that's the case. Watch this.
You're serious? Alisyn, you think these kids aren't acting on their own volition?
Alisyn, I think it's a horrible tragedy, and I'm heartbroken that young people have gone through this, and I hope that it never happens again. But I also know that their sorrow can very easily be hijacked by left-wing groups
but do you think
who have an agenda. Well, let's ask ourselves, do we really think that, and I say this sincerely, do we really think 17-year-olds on their own are going to plan a nationwide rally?
Jack.
I would say to you very plainly that organized groups that are out there like George Soros are always ready to take the charge, and it's kind of like instant rally, instant protest.
Okay, so who would look at this massacre and say, really, these kids who saw their best friends murdered in front of them would be motivated and able to pull off a rally? Who would be that deeply cynical, bad guy, whatever adjectives you want to use, right? And those are the light ones. Well, you got to understand something that's important for context here. It's the hardest thing in the world is to escape your own perspective. And from a Republican perspective, every rally is financed by some outside billionaire or multinational corporation. Every movement is financed by lobbyists and donors. They don't have any independent thought. They come in, they get memos, and they do as they are told. So Jack Kingston normally projects. He thinks, well, whenever I am part of some sort of organized protest or rally, it's some billionaire or millionaire or corporation that put it together, and I got my marching orders, in that case literally, and I showed up. So for example, when the Tea Party happened, the original rallying cry, if you will, was, hey, the bailouts. We don't want the bank bailouts. They're taking our taxpayer money and giving it to these bankers who collapsed the economy. That's actually a rallying cry I totally agree with. A lot of liberals and progressives would have joined those Tea Party rallies if that's what they were about, but they weren't. That's what they were mad about, but they never did a single protest about Wall Street, not one. Why? Because giant buses pulled up, and this has been tracked, unlike Jack Kingston's conspiracy theories, this was shown. The Koch brothers pulled up buses that already had paintings against Obamacare put onto the buses, okay? And they showed up with donuts and said, hey, everybody, you're really mad at financial speculators. Well, that's inconvenient. We're financial speculators. So get on the bus and let's go to a rally against Obamacare so that you guys can't get healthcare when you need it. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they got on the bus. Since that's what the Republicans do, Jack Kingston thinks, well, the Democrats must do the same. No, these kids actually saw their friends get killed. And Alisyn Camerota is gonna straighten it out anyway, because she was down there, she talked to them as they were doing the organizing. And she doesn't mention it in the clip you're about to see, but I don't believe she spotted George Soros in the crowd. Here, let's watch.
Jack, I'm sorry, I have to correct you. I was down there. I talked to these kids. These kids were what, Jack? These kids were wildly motivated. I talked to these kids before they knew the body count of how many of their friends had been killed. No, Jack. No one had talked to them yet. They hadn't been indoctrinated by some left-wing group. They were motivated from what they saw and what they endured during that ordeal.
I don't doubt their sincerity.
Yes, you do, Jack.
I absolutely know these children are heartbroken, but I also know they probably do not have the logistical ability to plan a nationwide rally without it being hijacked by groups that already had the pre-existing anti-gun agenda.
Jack, it's just silly. They're already doing it. They're on buses going to the state legislature today. They're 17 years old. They can figure this out. But
they have the money for the bus, and they're ready to go. I mean, I just have a hard time believing.
See, because he has a hard time believing they got the money for the bus, because whenever they do a rally, somebody already provided the bus, and it was one of their donors. So the reality is, yeah, the kids are doing fundraising right now, and a lot of people are happy to give them money because they're outraged by what happened. And of course, it's the Republican idea of the young too, like a bunch of millennials. Of course, how could they possibly do it without a billionaire backing them? Bunch of idiots. Of course, they can't organize. Wrong. They can organize, they did organize, it was them. Okay, my favorite part of that was Cameron though going, Jack. Okay, now finally, let's let the kids respond. Here's one of the students, Brandon Abzug.
I think it's very despicable that he would even have the audacity to say that. Young people all across this country and over the world should feel that they have the power to make things right, and especially in the wake of a tragedy, we really show who we truly are. So to say that just because we're young, we can't make a difference is not right, and he should apologize for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jack Kingston's apology. He's a Republican, so that is very, very unlikely to happen. One more time, the reason why Republicans see Soros behind everything in America, or every left-wing idea or movement or protest, is because there is the Koch brothers or the Mercers or incredibly rich donors who would like tax cuts and deregulation behind every Republican protest and rally and movement. So that's why they naturally think they must be likewise. No, Jack, I got news for you. There are actual citizens in this country who care about things, and they don't need a billionaire to tell them to care. They actually care, and they actually want action. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.